So in addition to the very tough start that we've had to the month of December, largely that was due to this whole Japanese global liquidity crisis and yen valuation. I did my best to kind of break that down in this video, so check that one out if you haven't already. But in addition to that tough start that we've seen, I have no choice but to discuss with you token unlocks that are also happening during this month, December 2025. This is something that we try to cover at least once a month. Some of these are heavy hitters. The unlocks that we're discussing are worth your consideration. If you hold any of these, or even if you don't, it's worth understanding what's happening, and we'll be breaking them down in this video. Welcome to the channel. My name is Maddie, and this is Altcoin Buzz. All the best of luck if you choose to invest. I wish you all the very best. Just remember, however, I am not a financial or investment advisor, meaning this video is not official financial or investment advice. So first off on the day, we're looking at the SUI Network and the SUI token, which is enjoying a nice bounce off of yesterday's market volatility. SUI has kind of had a steadily declining monthly unlock. So for December, which happened on the 1st, the amount was 55.54 million SUI. That's about 0.56% of the max supply. And the amount was equivalent to about $75 million or 1.51% of the total market cap. And as I said, this is monthly, and the amount declines just slightly each subsequent month. So next month, for example, it's going to be 55.31 million instead of 55.54 million. Not a difference, but that's the incremental decrease that's built in. That being said, this is the biggest unlock of the week in a week with lots of unlocked tokens. So if you hold SUI, if it's something that you're considering, these are factors, like I said at the outset, just to keep in mind, and you want to make sure you're aware of these kinds of events. SUI's just having a tear right now in these last 24 hours, exactly 10% up on the day as I record. So I guess I'm getting kind of just the right snapshot here. This is, in response to, I think, what was a lot of sell pressure on Monday and the negative news that we saw. This is nice to see. Look, we always tell you that unlocks can add to volatility, but you also never know. You need to be aware of them as a holder, right? Especially if you're a long-term holder, which we know a lot of our subscribers perhaps are when it comes to SUI, SUI. SUI's unlocks also come from these sets of token holders specifically. So they come from the early contributors, the community reserve, the community access program, the Miston Labs treasuries, as well as Series A and Series B investors, and all of that continues until 2030. So look, we love SUI. We think it's one of the best projects out there in the market, and this is no secret if you've been watching the channel, right? That's a position as far as we hold, that's we hold it unapologetically, right? This is one area, though, you have to be mindful of what is otherwise an excellent investment. Just, keep these unlocks in mind. Bull markets absorb these unlocks really quickly, easily. It's often, not even an issue. But when you have volatile markets, as we've seen, shaky markets or, full-blown bear markets, that's much less the case. These unlocks have a bigger impact during times that are not ideal, let's say. We still love SUI long-term, but just keep in mind that these unlocks could add some volatility for holders along the way. The next unlock here that we're looking at is Ethena, which has 2 monthly unlocks that take place on the 2nd and the 5th of the month. So we've seen one already today. Today is the 2nd of December. And we have another one coming up in just a few days. These together represent 94.19 million and 171.85 million tokens, respectively, or the equivalent of 0.63% and 1.15%, respectively, of the total supply. So together, this is 1.78% of the total, and it's worth just under $65 million, or about 3.5% of the ENA market cap. And we have some modestly positive figures here for ENA in the last 24 hours, not to the same extent that we saw with SUI. But it looks like we're just seeing a slight, modest recovery. And as I record right now, the market cap for Ethena is just below $1.8 billion with an FDV of $3.6 billion. That's because just under half of the total supply is in circulation, right? Just if If you fully dilute it, that's the math, simple enough. This month's unlocks are going to take the circulating supply to just over 50% of the total supply, which, by the way, is 15 billion. And if you're an Ethena holder, as we are, then these same two unlocks each month are continuing. You should be aware of that through 2026 and 2027 into 2028. We are telling you this now because you may love Ethena, but again, if you fast forward to next year, to 2027, to 2028, in a bear market situation, in a bear market cycle, which in one form or another we're going to see in the next few years, these unlocks are still happening, regardless of whether the market conditions are positive, regardless of where the price is. So you're going to want to keep that in mind. These are scheduled for the next few years. So just be aware. They may or may not be very volatile in terms of the impact on ENA now or next month. But I think, I would argue at least they're going to have a bigger and bigger impact later. Again, 2026, 2027. It's just something that you have to keep in mind. All right, and our third big unlock happening this week in early December is EigenCloud, formerly known as EigenLayer. Yesterday, we saw 36.82 million Eigen, that's EIGEN, which were unlocked. It is 7.59% of the total market cap, and the total value of the unlock was $18.39 million. And once again, here we have monthly unlocks that are going to go on for at least the next 2 years. So all the way through September 2027. That is per crypto rank. And these unlocks come from the investors and early contributors, those portions of Eigen tokens. Now, only around 25% of EigenCloud's total supply is in circulation, and the max supply is infinite, which is never a good thing. That is always a negative as far as my tabulation, as far as my assessment of a project. And in this case, we have both of these that are red flags. It's a good project, but despite it being a good project, those are two negatives. And the token being live and in circulation for only a year, it's not the best combination, not a deal breaker, as I often say, but again, another couple of variables there to keep in mind. And as you can see, Eigen is actually up kind of between what we saw with Ethena and SUI. So it's sort of middle of the pack here as far as what we're considering. So it's up on the day. I think this was a little bit of a dump leading up to the unlock. And as you can see now, this is the last 7 days. And as you can see now, we're on a little bit of a recovery. So up 5.6% in the last 24 hours, not bad. If we zoom out though, and more broadly speaking, when it comes to this project, it kind of seems like the market is just waiting for a sign as far as which direction it's going to take. Let's go through some other quick honorable mentions as far as unlocks this week. So again, the first week of December, there are actually 4 other projects with a combined $45 million worth of unlocks. For whatever reason, it's kind of a big week as far as that sort of activity. Dance Game and Metaverse Audiera and the BEAT token, that's BEAT, unlocked $16 million. That actually happened on the 1st. And considering their market cap is only $120 million right now as I record, that was a pretty big number. So this is a project that also is up on the day right now as I record. And that just means post-unlock, the response has been favorable, very favorable, actually. So it's up 15%. It was actually down 20% in one particular 24-hour window. So as you can see here, things are recovering a little bit, at least when it comes to BEAT. On the 3rd of December, so that's tomorrow, Wednesday, December 3rd, we have COCA, C-O-C-A, is going to unlock 18.38 million tokens, or the equivalent of $14 million. It is 16%, 16% of their current market cap. That's a lot. Which right now is about $86 million. That's a big number. And we also have 2 much smaller projects, Zion, X-I-O-N, and CapX, C-A-P-X. These also have their unlocks, I believe, Friday on the 5th of December. Both combined are going to release about $15 million worth of tokens into the market. So very likely we're going to get some extra market volatility, not just in terms of these tokens, but overall in the market. Right now, crypto is just very uncertain and indecisive about its direction, where it's going to go next. And unfortunately, I don't love saying it, but what that means is that unlocks are going to trigger more volatility than they normally would. Even for tokens that you hold that do not have any unlocks taking place, right? There's nothing that's spared. It's just where the market is right now. But the best thing you can do is to be aware of the effect that token unlocks could have on your positions, whether that's directly or indirectly in this weird market that we are facing together. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below, whether or not you're going to be affected directly by any of these unlocks. Also, join our social media discussions. You can find us on those platforms on X and on Discord. You can check out those links in the description below.